You don't need to prove anything to anyone. When you lock in on yourself, cut the noise, and stay consistent behind the scenes, life starts to change in ways you never imagined. Have you ever wondered what could happen if you stopped talking about your goals and just focused on becoming the person who gets them done? What if you stopped sharing every move and started making real moves in silence? Most people don't understand this truth. The less you say and the more you do, the faster your life moves forward. In this video, we're going to talk about what really happens when you focus on yourself. Stay silent and stop chasing validation. You'll see why silence is a powerful tool, how peace leads to clarity, and why your best work happens when no one's watching. If you're ready to grow in private and win in real life, stay with me. This is for you. Number 1, remove distractions and focus completely on your personal growth. When you remove distractions and focus completely on your personal growth, everything begins to change. Not all at once, not in a big dramatic way, but steadily, quietly, like water shaping stone, one drop at a time. You wake up and start making decisions based on what matters to you. You begin to see what's been in the way. You begin to feel where your time has been leaking, where your energy has been wasted, where your peace has been traded for noise. You get honest with yourself. That's where it starts. Not with a plan or a goal, but with truth. A truth you can't ignore anymore. Most people don't grow because they're too distracted. The phone is always buzzing. The screen is always glowing. The conversations never stop. The comparisons are endless. And it's easy to say you want to grow. It's easy to say you want to improve. But if your attention is scattered, your growth is going nowhere. You can't build anything strong on a distracted mind. A distracted person might work hard, but they work in circles. They confuse movement with progress. But movement doesn't mean you're moving forward. And here's the reality. If you don't control your focus, someone else will. You need to start saying no to what doesn't help you grow. You need to cut the noise. That's not selfish. That's necessary. Growth isn't just about what you do. It's also about what you remove. You've got to cut the things that drain you, the people who don't support you, the habits that weaken you, the routines that waste your time, the environments that pull you back into your old self. You've got to be clear. You've got to be sharp, because anything you tolerate will grow stronger. If you tolerate distraction, you'll keep falling behind. If you tolerate mediocrity, you'll keep getting less than you're capable of. Your potential is not the problem. Your focus is. You see, we've been conditioned to stay connected to everything, to check in, to be available, to be seen. But personal growth doesn't happen when you're available to everyone. It happens when you become available to yourself. You don't need everyone's input. You don't need everyone's opinion. You don't need to explain what you're working on. What you need is to spend more time doing and less time talking. You need to build a world where your priorities come first, where your time has value, where your mind has space to breathe and think clearly. That's what builds growth. Distraction is a trap that looks innocent. It doesn't feel dangerous. It feels normal. Just a few minutes on your phone, just a quick conversation, just one more episode. But day by day, you're training your mind to be scattered. And a scattered mind cannot focus. A scattered mind cannot finish. A scattered mind cannot grow. If you want to grow, you need to train your mind to be focused, to be disciplined, to be quiet. You don't need more hours in a day. You need fewer distractions in your hours. Distraction is also emotional. Some people stay busy so they don't have to deal with their own thoughts. They stay distracted because silence feels uncomfortable. But the truth is, real growth happens in silence. That's where you face yourself. That's where you hear your own voice again. That's where you recognize what's been missing. When you finally sit with yourself, without distractions, you realize what you've been ignoring. The pain you haven't healed, the goals you've abandoned, the life you've been putting off. That kind of clarity doesn't come when you're busy. It comes when you're honest enough to be still. When you remove distractions, you create space. And space is powerful. Space gives you control. Space gives you freedom. Space gives you the ability to make better decisions. When you're not pulled in every direction, you can finally decide what direction is right for you. You can start building habits that matter. You can spend time learning, growing, improving. You can finally hear your own thoughts without the influence of outside voices. You start noticing your own behavior. You start catching your own weaknesses. You start owning your own choices. And that kind of awareness, that kind of focus, that's how growth happens. Some people will not understand your silence. They'll think you've changed. They'll wonder why you're not around, why you're not responding, why you're not talking as much. That's okay. You're not responsible for explaining your growth to people who don't understand your path. You're not responsible for making your journey comfortable for others. When you choose to grow, not everyone will clap for you. That's part of the process, and you have to be okay with that. You have to get comfortable with being misunderstood. You have to stop looking for permission to grow, because the moment you need approval is the moment you give away your power. Growth is not glamorous. It's not loud. It doesn't look good on social media. It looks like early mornings and late nights. It looks like saying no when everyone else is saying yes. It looks like disappearing from places that once distracted you. It looks like doing the hard work that no one sees. But that work is where your power is built. That silence is where your clarity is found. That solitude is where your strength is forged. When you begin to focus completely on yourself, you realize how much time you've lost trying to please people who don't even matter. You realize how much energy you've wasted on things that didn't move you forward. You realize how much peace you've given away trying to stay connected to people who don't value your time. That's the kind of truth that hurts at first. But it also sets you free, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can no longer pretend that you don't know. And from that moment on, you start making different choices. You stop explaining. You stop chasing. You stop proving. You begin building. Focus changes everything. When you stop letting the world pull you in, you can pull yourself together. You can start rebuilding what was broken. You can start learning what you were never taught. You can start moving forward without permission or applause. Your mind becomes sharper. Your standards become higher. Your habits become stronger. You stop living by default and start living by design. And the best part, you begin to see results. Quiet results. Real results. The kind that don't need to be posted. The kind that don't need to be liked. The kind that you feel deep down. The kind that change you. People ask, how do I stay motivated? You don't. You stay focused. Motivation comes and goes. Focus stays. Focus shows up even when you're tired. Focus doesn't wait to feel ready. Focus doesn't depend on mood. Focus is a choice. It's a commitment. It's a decision you make every single day to keep showing up, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when no one sees it. That's how growth is built. Day by day, with focus, with discipline, in silence. If you want to change your life, don't wait for motivation. Remove your distractions. Build a schedule. Stick to it. Say no more often. Protect your time. Use it wisely. Read more. Learn more. Reflect more. Write down your goals. Review your habits. Stay consistent. Measure your progress. Keep track of what matters. Talk less. Do more. That's the formula. Not easy, but simple. Not loud, but powerful. Here's the truth. Everything you're looking for starts with you. Not with someone else. Not with another tool. Not with more information. With you. When you focus on yourself and stay silent, you stop wasting time. You stop seeking approval. You stop explaining your moves. You start working. You start growing. You start building. And that's when everything begins to fall into place. Not because you forced it, not because you faked it, but because you finally aligned your actions with your values. Because you finally showed up for yourself. That kind of growth is quiet. It doesn't ask for attention. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't wait for applause. It just keeps going. Because once you remove distractions and focus on your personal growth, you realize that everything you've been chasing has been inside you all along. You just needed the silence to hear it. You just needed the space to feel it. You just needed the focus to build it. So if you're ready to grow, then do this. Cut the noise. Stay quiet. And show up for yourself. Every single day. That's when everything begins to fall into place. That's when you start living the life you were always meant to build. Number 2, stop seeking approval and trust in your own journey. Most people struggle to move forward because they keep looking over their shoulders, waiting for someone to clap, to agree, to tell them it's okay to keep going. But here's the truth. If you spend your life waiting for approval, you'll never own your journey. You'll always be second-guessing yourself. You'll always feel like you need to prove something, and that's a trap. That's the kind of thinking that keeps you stuck, because you can't grow when your worth depends on someone else's reaction. You can't evolve if you're still trying to fit into a world you've outgrown. There's a point where you have to stop explaining your choices. You have to stop asking, will they like it? Will they understand? Because not everyone is supposed to understand you. Not everyone is meant to support you. Some people only know the older version of you. They're not ready for the new one, and that's okay. Your journey is not a group project. You don't need a committee. You don't need a panel of people voting on your next move. You need courage. You need commitment. And you need clarity about who you are and what you want. The moment you stop chasing approval is the moment you get your power back. You start moving for the right reasons. Not because someone told you to, not because it'll impress someone, but because it means something to you. That's when your growth becomes real. It's not about showing off. It's not about validation. It's about alignment. It's about living in a way that feels true to you, even if nobody gets it, even if nobody claps. When you trust your own journey, you stop waiting for signs from the outside. You start building something solid on the inside. Most people have never been taught to trust themselves. From the beginning, we're told to listen, to follow, to conform. We're told what's acceptable, what's popular, what's expected. And if you step outside of that, people start questioning you. They label you. They try to bring you back to what they understand. But your life doesn't belong in someone else's comfort zone. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to grow into who you were meant to become. And that doesn't come with applause. That comes with risk. That comes with standing alone. That comes with staying true when it's easier to follow the crowd. Approval feels safe, but it's a false safety. It keeps you chasing something that changes all the time. One moment, people like you. The next moment, they don't. One day they support you. The next they judge you. You can't build confidence on that. You can't build purpose on unstable ground. The only way to be strong is to root your life in something deeper than public opinion. Something that doesn't shake when people walk away. Something that doesn't crumble when you're criticized. You build that by trusting yourself. And that takes time. It takes honesty. It takes silence. And it takes the willingness to keep going, even when no one's watching. You will lose people when you stop needing their approval. That's the price of growth. People who are comfortable with your old habits, your old limits, your old mindset. They may not stick around when you change, but that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're becoming someone stronger. You don't need people who only support the version of you that plays small. You need people who respect your vision, even if they don't fully understand it. But more than that, you need your own respect. You need to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of how far I've come, even if nobody else says it. It's easy to get caught up in what people think, especially when it's family or friends or people you care about. But here's the truth. Sometimes the people closest to you will be the first ones to doubt you, not because they don't love you, but because they don't see what you see. They only know your past. They don't see your future. And that's okay. You're not here to convince them. You're here to live it. You're here to walk it. And once they see your consistency, once they see your results, they'll understand. But don't wait for that moment to believe in yourself. Start now. Build now. Move now. You don't need everyone to understand your path for it to be valid. The moment you stop trying to explain it is the moment you free up energy to actually walk it. Explaining drains you. Defending your choices wears you out. And most of the time, people aren't listening to understand. They're listening to judge. So stop trying to win them over. Win yourself over. Get solid on your values. Get clear on your goals. Get serious about your discipline. That's what makes a life worth living. That's what creates change. Not approval, but commitment. Approval is often tied to fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of being judged. Fear of being wrong. But if you want to build something real, you've got to face that fear. You've got to be okay with being the only one in the room who believes in your vision. You've got to be okay with walking away from people who don't get it. Because staying around people who don't support your growth is the fastest way to kill it. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to argue. You just need to stop explaining and keep building. When you start trusting your own voice, something shifts. You don't need to shout. You don't need to post everything. You don't need to prove anything. You become quiet, but powerful. You become steady, but unshakable. You don't panic when things take time. You don't fold under pressure. You keep your eyes on your own lane. You keep your energy focused on your habits. You measure your growth by your own progress, not by who claps or who criticizes. And that's real freedom. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be understood, but don't let that need run your life. Don't let it slow you down. You're not here to impress people. You're here to improve yourself. You're here to evolve. And evolution is uncomfortable. It forces you to outgrow your old ways. It forces you to let go of shallow praise. It forces you to look inward and ask hard questions. Are you doing this because it matters to you, or because someone else said you should? Are you making choices based on your future, or based on your fear? That kind of honesty is what sets you free. People will talk, they'll judge, they'll make assumptions. That's not your business. Your business is staying focused. Your business is showing up for your goals. Your business is protecting your peace and guarding your time. You don't have to respond to every comment. You don't have to react to every opinion. When you're truly focused, noise becomes background. It doesn't shake you. It doesn't break you. It becomes something you move through without losing your path. You've got to stop living like your life is up for debate. You've got to stop shrinking to make people comfortable. You've got to stop explaining decisions that were made to protect your growth. You don't owe anyone a version of you that fits their comfort zone. Your life is your responsibility. And that's not pressure, that's power. Because when you stop waiting for permission, you start taking ownership. You start creating momentum. You start unlocking strength you didn't know you had. And the world begins to shift, not because people finally approved of you, but because you finally approved of yourself. Some people might walk away when you stop seeking their approval. That's how you find out who really respects you. Some people will criticize you more when you stop asking for their opinion. That's how you find out who felt threatened by your growth. But the right people will stay. The right people will support you, not because you ask them to, but because they see your seriousness. They feel your commitment. They recognize your focus. You won't have to convince them. Your work will speak for itself. And the truth is, once you build trust with yourself, you don't crave approval like you used to. You don't need people to see your worth. You see it. You don't need people to believe in your ideas. You believe in them. You don't need constant feedback to feel like you're on the right path. You know you are. That's the kind of strength that makes you unshakable. That's the kind of focus that builds something real, something lasting, something powerful. So if you're tired of chasing approval, stop running. Stand still. Look at where you are. Ask yourself what you really want. Ask yourself what habits you need to build. Ask yourself what kind of life you're willing to fight for. And then start, without explaining, without apologizing, without waiting for the perfect moment. Your life is not a performance. It's not a project for others to judge. It's a path for you to walk, with strength, with clarity, and with conviction. When you stop seeking approval and trust in your own journey, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. You stop chasing and start building. You stop performing and start living. You stop hesitating and start moving. And that's when things start falling into place. Not because someone said it's time, but because you finally believed it was. Number 3, commit to self-discipline and watch your life transform. Most people think success is about talent or timing or luck. But the real change happens the day you get serious about self-discipline. That's when things begin to shift. That's when you stop living on autopilot. That's when you stop wasting days with no direction. And the truth is, your life won't change until you do. Not just in your thinking, but in your habits. in the way you show up for yourself when no one's watching, in the way you push yourself when it would be easier to stay comfortable. Discipline is not a punishment. It's the highest form of self-respect. It's the proof that you value your goals more than your excuses. Every time you say you'll start tomorrow and don't, you lose a little trust in yourself. You chip away at your confidence, not because you failed, but because you didn't keep your word to yourself. Self-discipline is about rebuilding that trust. It's about doing the things you said you would, especially when it's hard, especially when you don't feel like it. The moment you stop waiting to feel motivated and start acting on discipline, you become dangerous. You become reliable. You become someone who can handle pressure. Because discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what needs to be done. You can't expect a strong life built on weak habits. If your daily routine is filled with distractions and shortcuts, your results will always reflect that. People want big results with low effort. They want growth without discomfort. But that's not how it works. You don't build a strong body by skipping workouts. You don't build mental toughness by choosing what's easy. You don't build financial freedom by wasting money on things that bring no return. Everything comes with a price, and discipline is the price for freedom. It's the sacrifice you make today so your future self doesn't suffer. Some people think discipline is boring. They think structure limits them. They want to be free. But what they don't realize is that undisciplined freedom is chaos. It leads to regret. It leads to inconsistency. Discipline isn't what traps you. It's what gives you control. It gives you direction. It allows you to say no to what doesn't serve you. And in a world that's constantly fighting for your attention, being able to say no is power. It means you're not pulled by every impulse. It means you decide what matters, not your mood, not your cravings, not the noise around you. If you want real transformation, you have to stop relying on mood. Your mood will betray you. It will tell you to skip the hard things. It will convince you to take the day off. It will tempt you to give in to comfort. But discipline doesn't care about mood. It's based on commitment, on values, on long-term thinking. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you're reinforcing a mindset that will carry you through any challenge. You're building a reputation with yourself, one decision at a time, one habit at a time. Discipline shows up in the small moments, in the way you start your day, in the way you handle your time, in how often you practice patience, in whether or not you follow through with your plans. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get everything right, but you need to be consistent. You need to stop negotiating with yourself. You need to stop making excuses for habits that steal your progress. Self-discipline doesn't mean you never rest. It means you earn your rest. It means you work hard enough to be proud of the time you take off. There will be days when you want to quit. There will be moments when it feels like nothing is changing. That's where most people give up. They look at their progress and say it's not fast enough. They forget that growth is slow, that real change is invisible before it becomes obvious. You can't plant a seed and expect a tree in 1 week. But if you stay consistent, if you keep watering the right habits, you'll see the transformation, not just on the outside, but in your character, in your mindset, in your strength. And once discipline becomes part of your identity, everything else starts falling into place. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel ready. That's why discipline matters. It becomes the engine when your motivation runs out. It's what keeps you grounded when emotions get loud. It's what pulls you forward when fear tries to hold you back. Most people never reach their potential because they rely on feeling good. But the real winners are the ones who show up when it's boring, when it's repetitive, when no one is clapping, when no one's watching. That's what separates those who talk from those who do. Self-discipline is uncomfortable, but so is staying the same. So is living with regret. So is watching your potential slip away because you kept choosing comfort over commitment. The pain of discipline lasts minutes. The pain of regret can follow you for years. When you realize that, discipline becomes easier. Because now you're not just thinking about the moment. You're thinking about your future. You're thinking about who you want to become. And you understand that every choice you make is shaping that person. The most successful people aren't the smartest. They're not the most talented. They're not the most connected. They're the most consistent. They mastered the skill of showing up every day, of blocking out distractions, of sticking to their routines. And that kind of consistency doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from discipline, from saying yes to the hard things, from putting in the work even when it feels repetitive, from being honest with yourself about what you need to improve and actually doing it. Discipline is how you separate what you want now from what you want most. It's how you stop living in short-term pleasure and start creating long-term fulfillment. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because once you build it, it becomes a part of you. It becomes how you live, how you think, how you make decisions. And people around you will notice. They'll feel your focus. They'll respect your consistency. They'll see the results you built in silence, and none of it will be by accident. It will be the product of your discipline. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start small. One habit, one change, one commitment to yourself. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Wake up at the same time. Set limits on your phone. Move your body. Write down your goals. Follow through on your promises. Track your progress. Cut out what's wasting your energy. And do it every day, not just when you feel like it. Do it until it becomes part of your routine. Do it until it feels strange not to. That's how transformation begins. You'll never regret being disciplined. You'll never look back and say, I wish I had been lazier. What you will regret is not starting sooner, not staying focused, not holding yourself to a higher standard. You've got more inside of you than you're showing the world. You've got more to give, but you'll never unlock it until you get serious about your daily actions, until you stop waiting for life to change and start changing how you live your life. There's no secret, no shortcut, no hack that replaces self-discipline. That's the foundation. That's the tool that turns intentions into reality. That's the decision that separates those who talk about success from those who live it. If you want to be proud of the life you're building, start by being proud of your discipline. The work you put in today is shaping your results tomorrow. And the only way to guarantee that progress is to stay consistent. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't worry about who's ahead. Focus on your pace. Focus on your growth. Focus on the person you're becoming. Discipline makes you quiet. It makes you focused. It takes your attention off the noise and puts it back where it belongs, on your actions, your decisions, your next move. And the more you commit to that, the stronger you get, the more powerful you become. Because now you're not just reacting to life, you're creating it. You've tried the shortcuts. You've waited for the right moment. You've seen what happens when you depend on motivation. Now try this. Try discipline. Try showing up without needing to feel ready. Try doing the work even when it's hard. Try staying consistent when no one's watching. That's when the real change begins. That's when the results start showing up. And they won't just show up in your success. They'll show up in how you carry yourself, in how you handle pressure, in how you treat your time, in how you move through life. There's a version of you that's locked behind your current habits. A stronger you, a more focused you, a more fulfilled you. And the only way to meet that version is through discipline, through structure, through consistent action. Not because someone's pushing you, but because you've decided that you deserve more. You've decided that you're done making excuses. You've decided that it's time to grow. And when that decision becomes real, when you stop talking and start doing, that's when your life begins to transform. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Start now. Start where you are. Start with what you have. And stay with it. No matter how slow it feels. No matter how tired you get. Keep showing up. Because that's what discipline looks like. That's what builds strength. That's what leads to success. Not the big leaps, but the daily steps. And the day you commit to those steps is the day your life begins to change for good. Number 4, silence the noise and protect your peace at all costs. Most people don't even realize how loud the world has become. They wake up to noise, they go to bed with noise. Their minds are full before they even open their eyes in the morning. And what gets lost in all that noise is peace. That inner stillness that tells you what really matters. That quiet feeling that keeps you grounded. Without it, you lose your ability to hear yourself think. You lose your clarity. You lose your direction. And when you lose those things, you start reacting. Instead of responding, you start chasing distractions instead of building your life. Peace is not something you find by accident. It's not something the world gives you. It's something you create by force. You earn it by cutting out the chaos, by stepping away from things that don't serve your growth. You protect it by walking away from unnecessary arguments, ignoring meaningless opinions, and limiting your exposure to people who drain you. Peace isn't passive, it's active. It's a choice you make every single day. And if you don't make that choice, the world will make it for you. You can't think clearly when you're surrounded by noise. The noise of gossip, the noise of judgment, the noise of constant comparison. It clouds your vision. It confuses your priorities. It makes you believe that you need to respond to everything, explain everything, prove everything. But you don't. You don't need to convince anyone of who you are. You don't need to engage with negativity. You don't need to prove your worth to people who never took the time to understand your path. Silence is power, and when you learn to use it, your peace becomes unshakable. You can't control everything around you, but you can control what you allow in, what you listen to, what you respond to, what you give your energy to. That's how you protect your peace. That's how you stay focused on your goals. Because every time you engage with something that's beneath your purpose, you're stepping off your path. And sometimes, the greatest discipline is silence. Sometimes the strongest move is to not respond. Not because you're weak, but because you've outgrown the need to be seen or heard by everyone. There's a kind of peace that comes when you stop explaining yourself. When you stop needing others to understand your decisions. When you stop chasing approval and start honoring your values. That's the kind of peace you protect with everything you've got. Not everyone will understand your silence. Not everyone will like your boundaries. But peace was never meant to be popular. It was meant to give you space to grow, to think, to live in alignment with your truth. Too many people trade their peace for acceptance. They say yes when they want to say no. They stay connected to people who bring stress instead of support. They stay in environments that are loud with pressure and criticism. And over time, they forget what calm even feels like. Don't do that to yourself. Don't betray your well-being just to be liked. Don't stay somewhere that costs you your mental clarity. Your peace is more valuable than validation. It's more important than being included. And it's far more rare than people realize. Peace is not hiding. It's not running away. It's choosing your energy wisely. It's knowing the difference between things that challenge you and things that drain you. It's understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. That not every comment deserves a reply. That not every voice should be heard in your life. Protecting your peace doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're powerful enough to control what affects you. It means you're mature enough to walk away from things that don't align with your future. Think about how much time you've lost worrying about things that didn't matter. Think about the energy you've wasted on arguments that went nowhere. Think about the days you carried stress from someone else's opinion. Was it worth it? Did it build anything? Did it move you forward? If the answer is no, then it's time to change. It's time to create space. Space for thinking. Space for clarity. Space for becoming the person you're trying to build. And that space can only exist when you remove the noise. Start being intentional with your time, with your thoughts, with your surroundings. Protect your mornings. Guard your nights. Take control of what you allow into your head. Be ruthless with your peace. Not because you're selfish, but because you've finally realized how much it costs to live without it. Peace gives you strength. It gives you focus. It gives you the calm confidence to move through life without being swayed by everything that happens around you. The world rewards noise. It glorifies speed. It celebrates distraction. But that doesn't mean you have to join in. You can choose stillness. You can choose focus. You can choose a life that feels right, not just one that looks right. And when you do, everything changes. Your decisions get clearer. Your emotions get steadier. Your goals get sharper. That's what happens when you protect your peace. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop surviving and start leading. Silence is not weakness. Silence is a statement. It says you're not available for nonsense. It says you're not moved by chaos. It says your attention is valuable and only given where it belongs. There's strength in being calm, in being centered, in being unbothered by things that used to control you. That kind of strength can't be faked. It's built through intention, through discipline, through choosing peace again and again, even when the noise tries to pull you back in. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to reply to every criticism. You don't have to defend your every move. What you do need is to stay true to your values, to protect your energy, to keep your peace intact, no matter how loud it gets. Because once you lose that, you lose your power. And once you lose your power, you start living on other people's terms. You start reacting to life instead of designing it. Ask yourself what brings peace to your life, and do more of that. Ask yourself what creates chaos, and do less of it. It's simple, but not easy, because the world is built to distract you. But your job is to stay locked in, to be selective, to choose calm over chaos, focus over noise, progress over popularity. The more you do that, the more you'll see the difference in your mood, in your relationships, in your results. Peace always pays off. You don't owe access to anyone who doesn't respect your peace. You don't owe time to people who make you feel small. You don't owe explanations to those who refuse to understand. What you do owe is a commitment to yourself, a promise to protect the space where your future is being built. And that space must be quiet. It must be clean. It must be guarded, because that's where your focus lives. That's where your purpose grows. That's where your best self is being formed. People will try to break your focus. Life will throw distractions your way. But if your peace is strong, none of it will shake you. You'll stay centered. You'll stay disciplined. You'll stay consistent. That's what real strength looks like. Not loud, not aggressive, just calm, just focused, just grounded in purpose. And when you operate from that space, you make better decisions. You handle pressure with grace. You become someone people trust. Not because you say a lot, but because you don't let anything shake you. Don't be afraid to be quiet. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to disconnect from things that aren't helping you grow. That silence you create, that stillness, it's where the breakthroughs come from. It's where you find your next move, your next goal, your next level. And none of that happens in noise. None of that happens in chaos. It happens in peace. That's the real foundation of success. A mind that's calm, a spirit that's grounded, a life that's not pulled in every direction. You've seen what chaos does. You've lived through stress. You've been around noise. Now it's time to choose differently. Now it's time to build your peace like a fortress, not to keep people out, but to keep your power in, to keep your mind sharp, to keep your days aligned, to keep your goals protected. Because when you protect your peace, you protect your progress. And when you do that, everything else falls into place. Start today. Look at your life. What's stealing your peace? Who's draining your energy? What habits are filling your mind with noise? Identify them. Remove them. Replace them with intention. Replace them with discipline. Replace them with silence. And watch what happens. Watch how quickly your focus returns. Watch how much lighter your days feel. Watch how powerful you become when your mind is quiet and your vision is clear. That's the result of protecting your peace. And that's the life you deserve to live. Number 5, put in the work consistently and let results speak for you. The key to success has never changed. The formula is simple. Do the work consistently. The world around you may try to distract you with shortcuts, quick fixes, and flashy promises. But none of that leads to lasting success. The only real path to achievement is through relentless, focused effort over time. And this is where most people get it wrong. They expect immediate results. They want recognition before the process has even been fully completed. But if you want real results, the kind that speaks for itself, you need to show up day in and day out, no matter what. That's where the true magic happens. The quiet, uncelebrated work behind the scenes. Let's be clear. There is no substitute for putting in the work. No amount of motivation, inspiration, or talent will make up for it. You can read all the books, you can watch all the videos, but nothing replaces the effort of showing up, doing the task, and pushing through the tough days. You have to be willing to put in the time, the sweat, the sacrifice. This is what separates those who succeed from those who just wish for success. The commitment to keep going, even when no one is watching, even when results aren't immediately visible, is what builds character. It's what builds the foundation for long-term success. We live in a world that craves instant gratification. People want to see results now. They want to feel good about their progress in an instant. But success doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process. It's the accumulation of small actions, repeated day after day, that create real change. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see results right away. It's easy to question your progress when you're working hard and nothing seems to be happening. But I can tell you this, the results are coming. They're on the way, but they will come at the pace of the effort you're putting in. The consistent, steady effort that you put into something will always yield the results you want in time. People often talk about hustle culture like it's a badge of honor. But let's be real, hustle without purpose is just noise. It's meaningless movement. It's exhausting and unsustainable. True success doesn't come from being busy for the sake of being busy. It comes from deliberate, focused work that moves you toward your goals. That's what makes the difference. And if you're consistently putting in that work, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere, you're on the right track. The results are building. They're just not always visible yet. But if you keep showing up, if you keep working with focus and intention, the results will eventually speak for themselves. One of the most powerful things you can do is ignore the noise. The world will tell you that you need to be doing something different. It will tell you that you should be working harder or working smarter. It will tell you that you need the newest technique or the latest trend. But the truth is, the basics still work. The fundamentals still work. If you commit to consistently doing the work that will get you closer to your goals every single day. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Results speak for themselves. When you're working consistently, day in and day out, your progress becomes undeniable. The work will always show, and when it does, you won't need to tell anyone what you've done. They'll see it. It'll be evident. Your results will be your testimony. You won't need to brag, boast, or explain. Your success will be loud enough on its own. But here's the catch. Not everyone is willing to put in the work. People want the rewards, but they're not always willing to endure the grind that leads to those rewards. They want the quick win, the easy fix, the shortcut. But the reality is, success is a long-term game. And if you're only focused on the short term, you'll miss out on the deeper rewards that come with sticking to something long enough to see it through. The reward of building something that lasts. The reward of knowing you earned it. The reward of having the kind of results that others can't ignore. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with taking breaks and giving yourself time to recharge. You can't burn yourself out by grinding 24/7s, and you shouldn't expect to work non-stop without any rest. But what I'm talking about here is the kind of consistency that doesn't waver. It's showing up even when you're tired. It's doing the work even when you don't feel like it. It's putting in the effort when no one is applauding you. And it's this kind of consistency, this dedication to keeping going, even when the results aren't instant, that leads to lasting success. The truth is, there will always be someone faster than you, smarter than you, or more talented than you. But what they can't do is outlast you. What they can't do is show up every day and keep putting in the work, no matter the obstacles. If you make a habit of staying consistent, of committing to the work day after day, you will surpass them in the long run. Because results aren't just about how much effort you put in today. It's about how much effort you put in every day. And if you're showing up consistently, you're building something that will eventually outweigh anything that comes at you. But why does consistency matter so much? Because consistency compounds. It's like investing. Small, regular deposits add up over time. And before you know it, you've built something substantial. The smallest steps, done consistently, create the momentum that moves you forward. Over time, you begin to see the compound effect of your actions. You look back and realize how much progress you've made, how much you've achieved, how much you've grown, all because of consistent, steady work. And let's talk about those moments when you feel like nothing's happening. You're putting in the work, but there's no recognition, no reward, no immediate results. Those moments can be discouraging. They can make you question whether it's all worth it. But here's the thing, you can't judge your progress based on what you see today. you have to trust the process. Trust that every little effort, every small action, is adding up and pushing you closer to your goal. Even when the results aren't immediate, you're still making progress. You're still building the foundation for success. And one day, when the results finally show up, you'll realize they were worth every single moment of effort you put in. The key to success isn't doing something for a little while and then giving up when it doesn't happen fast enough. It's sticking to it. It's continuing to do the work, even when the immediate rewards aren't visible. It's trusting that your effort is never wasted. Every minute you spend working toward your goal is building momentum, whether you can see it or not. You don't need immediate results to know you're on the right path. You just need to keep showing up, day after day, with the belief that eventually, the work will pay off. The results will speak for themselves. And when they do, it'll be undeniable. Your commitment, your discipline, your consistency will shine through. You'll have the results to back it all up. The work you put in today is an investment in your future. It's a building block. It's laying the foundation for everything you want to achieve. And if you keep building, piece by piece, day by day, the results will come. When you stay focused, when you stay consistent, when you put in the work, the results don't have to be shouted from the rooftops. They'll speak for themselves. So keep going, keep putting in the effort, keep trusting the process, because the results will come. And when they do, they'll be worth every moment you spent working toward them. Number 6, embrace solitude. And use it to sharpen your focus in a world filled with distractions, constant noise, and the pressure to conform. It's easy to forget the immense power that comes from embracing solitude. We are often taught that success is about being constantly in motion, always surrounded by people, always networking, and always chasing after the next opportunity. But in truth, some of the most successful and focused people in the world know the secret of solitude. They know that there's a power in quiet, in being alone with your thoughts, and in sharpening your focus without the interference of the outside world. Solitude isn't about being lonely or isolated. It's not about cutting yourself off from the world. It's about giving yourself the time and space to reflect, to think clearly, and to reconnect with your own inner voice. In solitude, you find the clarity that you can't get when you're constantly distracted by the opinions of others, by external noise, and by the constant demands of life. It's in solitude that you're able to hear your own thoughts, get to the root of what matters most, and make decisions based on your true desires, rather than on what others expect from you. Embracing solitude is one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal for sharpening your focus. When you're alone, without the distractions of social media, other people's opinions, or the constant buzz of notifications, your mind has the space to process and focus on what truly matters. You can dive deep into your goals, your dreams, and your plans without the noise of the outside world clouding your judgment. The power of solitude lies in its ability to help you reconnect with your inner self. It gives you the time and space to reflect on your values, your purpose, and your priorities. When you're constantly surrounded by other people and their ideas, it's easy to lose sight of what really matters to you. But when you take the time to be alone, you can ask yourself the hard questions that often get buried in the noise of daily life. What do I truly want? What am I willing to do to get it? What are the things I need to focus on in order to make progress? Solitude allows you to take a step back from the chaos and see things from a different perspective. It gives you the opportunity to clear your mind, to process your emotions, and to refocus your energy. Without the constant pressure to keep up with others, you can start to listen to your own thoughts, trust your own intuition, and make decisions that are aligned with your goals and values. When you're in the midst of constant noise and distractions, it's easy to get lost in the opinions of others. But when you're alone, you are your own compass. You decide where you're going and how you're going to get there. One of the biggest challenges in today's world is the overwhelming amount of information and distractions that constantly compete for our attention. Whether it's social media, news, or the opinions of those around you, it's easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing and lose sight of your own path. Solitude provides the mental space to tune out the noise and focus on what truly matters. It's in those quiet moments that you can gain insight into your goals, make clear decisions, and sharpen your focus on what will move you forward. When you embrace solitude, you are no longer at the mercy of the world's distractions. You take control of your time, your energy, and your focus. You can set aside time each day to be alone with your thoughts, to reflect on your progress, and to align your actions with your vision. It's in this space that you can dig deep into your purpose and find the clarity you need to stay focused on your goals. In solitude, you begin to build a deeper relationship with yourself. You learn to trust your own instincts, make decisions based on your own values, and embrace the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are and what you want. This process of self-discovery is essential for sharpening your focus, because when you're clear on your purpose and your priorities, it becomes easier to say no to the distractions that can pull you off course. It's also important to recognize that solitude isn't about shutting yourself off from the world completely. It's about finding balance. It's about knowing when to retreat into yourself in order to recharge and refocus, and when to engage with others in meaningful ways. The key is not to get lost in isolation, but to use solitude as a tool to strengthen your mind and your focus. When you take time to be alone, you begin to cultivate a stronger sense of inner peace. You stop relying on external validation and start trusting in your own abilities. This inner peace becomes the foundation of your focus. It's the quiet confidence that allows you to block out distractions and stay true to your path. In a world that is constantly pulling you in different directions, this inner peace is what keeps you grounded and focused on what matters most. The power of solitude also lies in its ability to help you reset and recharge. We often go through life on autopilot, reacting to whatever comes our way, without taking the time to truly check in with ourselves. But solitude gives us the opportunity to pause, reflect, and reset. It's like hitting the reset button on your mind and your energy. In these moments of stillness, you can find clarity, regain focus, and come back stronger than before. In solitude, you are free from judgment. You don't have to worry about what others think or how you're being perceived. You can simply be yourself, without any external pressure or expectation. This freedom is incredibly powerful because it allows you to be completely honest with yourself. You can look at your goals, your actions, and your progress without any filters. This level of self-awareness is essential for sharpening your focus because it helps you identify what's working and what needs to change. One of the greatest benefits of solitude is that it helps you build the mental discipline needed to stay focused on your goals. In a world filled with distractions, it takes real discipline to stay committed to your own path. But when you embrace solitude, you strengthen your ability to stay focused on what truly matters. You become less reliant on external validation and more in tune with your own inner drive. This mental discipline is what allows you to stay on track, even when things get tough, and to keep pushing forward toward your goals. The discipline you build through solitude will serve you for a lifetime. It will help you stay focused when the world is trying to pull you in 100 different directions. It will help you stay committed to your vision, even when the road gets rough. It will help you build the resilience and strength needed to push through the challenges and keep moving forward. And ultimately, it will help you achieve the success you desire because you'll be able to stay laser focused on your goals without getting distracted by the noise around you. The journey of embracing solitude is a powerful one. It's not always easy, especially when you're used to being constantly connected or surrounded by people. But when you make the choice to embrace solitude, you take control of your life and your focus. You gain clarity, peace, and strength. You develop the mental discipline needed to stay focused on your goals and the inner peace that comes from knowing you're on the right path. Solitude is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. It's the key to unlocking your potential, sharpening your focus, and creating the life you want. So take the time to embrace solitude. Use it as a tool to reflect, recharge, and refocus. Allow it to strengthen your mind and your spirit, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Number 7. Eliminate excuses and make progress without needing validation. There comes a time when you need to face yourself honestly. Not the version of you that you show the world. Not the version that's filtered through excuses, doubts, or distractions. But the real you, the one who knows exactly what needs to be done, even when you've been pretending otherwise. Progress doesn't come from wishing. It doesn't come from telling yourself, you'll do it later. It comes the moment you decide you're done making excuses. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need someone to pat you on the back every time you move an inch forward. What you need is the decision to stop running from what you know you should be doing. Because excuses will always be ready. They'll always sound convincing. You'll always have a reason to delay. But every time you choose an excuse, you trade your progress for comfort. And nothing meaningful comes from comfort. Excuses are easy. They're familiar. They take no effort, no risk, no discipline. You can blame your circumstances, your past, your lack of support, or your low energy. You can point the finger at everything around you, but none of those things change your life. The only thing that moves you forward is action. The only thing that builds confidence is doing what you said you would do even when no one's watching. You might be waiting for motivation. You might be hoping for that perfect moment when you feel ready. But motivation comes after movement, not before. If you're waiting to feel like it, you'll wait forever. The winners in life act without needing to feel ready. They move without applause. They execute their plans without needing anyone to notice. They don't search for permission. They give it to themselves. You have the power to move forward right now, as you are. Not when things are perfect. Not when you have more time. Not when everyone believes in you. Now, with the energy you have. With the resources you have. With the challenges you face. You don't need to be in the right mood. You need to be committed. Because commitment gets things done when feelings don't show up. Nobody is coming to hand you your dream. Nobody is going to chase it for you. Nobody will care as much about your goals as you should. And that's the truth. The faster you accept that, the faster you begin to rely on your own drive. The people around you are not responsible for your growth. You are. If you keep waiting for validation, you'll live your life trying to prove yourself to people who don't even know what you truly want. Validation is a dangerous trap. It gives you a false sense of achievement. Every time you seek approval before making progress, you give your power away. You let someone else decide if you're good enough to keep going. But what if they never say you are? What if they never notice your effort? Will you stop then? Or will you learn to push forward anyway? Progress without validation is real power. It means you are no longer performing for others. It means you are acting from your own standard. It means you show up even when there's no praise, no likes, no claps. You move forward because you said you would. Because your word means something. Because your life is too valuable to be put on hold until others give you permission to live it. There is a moment in everyone's life when they realize that no excuse is worth holding them back anymore. That moment feels like truth. It feels like finally waking up after years of lying to yourself. And in that moment, you start building. You stop blaming. You take full ownership of every choice, every habit, every delay. You stop saying I can't and start saying I must. You stop pretending there's time to waste and start acting like every second counts. When you commit to progress, the work doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. You start creating your own momentum. You start learning from your failures instead of hiding from them. You stop waiting to be inspired and start inspiring yourself through consistent effort. The results might come slowly, but they come, and they come with pride, with confidence, with the quiet knowing that you built something real from the inside out. Excuses are thieves. They steal time, they steal confidence, they steal opportunity. But when you eliminate them, you gain everything you were missing. You gain clarity, you gain control, you gain the strength to stand on your own. And that strength compounds. It grows every day you choose action over comfort, commitment over delay, self-respect over seeking approval. You don't have to explain your journey to anyone. You don't need everyone to understand. What you need is to look in the mirror and know you're doing what needs to be done. Not for attention, not for applause, but because it matters to you. That's where your real power comes from doing the work quietly, steadily, and without permission. Your life won't change through talks. It changes through decisions backed by consistent action. You don't become disciplined by watching others. You become disciplined by showing up for yourself when it's inconvenient. You don't gain self-respect by making excuses. You gain it by keeping your word. You don't find freedom in validation. You find it in self-reliance. Every person who's ever built something great started with nothing but a decision. A decision to stop letting excuses define them. A decision to stop waiting for someone to believe in them. A decision to move forward even when it was lonely, even when it was hard, even when nobody noticed. And you can make that decision today. Decide that you are done explaining why you're stuck. Decide that you are no longer waiting to be in the mood. Decide that you are enough right now to begin, and then act. Not once, not when it feels good. Every day, with discipline, with focus, with the unshakable belief that your progress is your responsibility. Don't look for signs. Don't wait for permission. Don't chase validation. Just begin. Show up for yourself with full effort. Build trust with yourself through action. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Be honest when you fall short and correct it. Stay hungry to improve, not to impress. Stay focused on your growth, not their opinions. Stay locked in on your path, not distracted by their noise. The truth is, no one will care more about your progress than you do, and no one needs to. Because you are enough to carry this mission forward. You are enough to make progress without applause. You are strong enough to eliminate every excuse and replace it with a step forward. You are capable of doing the hard things, especially when no one's watching. This life will only change for you when you decide that every excuse is done. When you stop explaining and start executing. When you stop looking around and start looking within. When you stop waiting and start becoming. The progress you want is not hiding from you. It's just on the other side of every excuse you've ever believed. Now is the time to act. Not later, not tomorrow. Now you've waited long enough. You've explained your situation long enough. You've tried to convince others long enough. It's time to do the one thing that actually brings change. Take full ownership of your life. Move forward without approval. Eliminate the excuses. Do the work. Earn the result. This is the standard now. No more pity. No more waiting. No more asking for permission. Progress is yours to create, and it starts with you. Number 8. Focus on improving yourself daily and ignore the chaos. If you truly want to change your life, you need to start paying more attention to what you're doing every single day. Not once in a while, not just when things feel right, but every day. Growth isn't something that waits for the perfect moment. It begins when you decide to improve yourself, no matter what else is happening around you. Chaos will never disappear. Distractions won't take a break. There will always be noise in the world. But you don't have to follow it. You don't have to let it consume you. You see, most people are caught up in everything that doesn't serve them. They spend hours trying to figure out what someone else is doing. They're worried about things they can't control. They react to everything. They read every headline, respond to every post, chase every drama. But that doesn't bring clarity. That doesn't build anything real. It just drains you. It takes your energy and your peace and gives you nothing in return. But you're not here for that. You're here because you want to become better. You want to live a life that matters. You want to feel proud of the person you're becoming. And the only way you do that is by keeping your attention on what you can control. Your growth, your habits, your thinking, your reactions. You can't stop the world from spinning, but you can build a mind strong enough to stay calm while it does. The world outside will always be filled with noise. Arguments, opinions, criticism, distractions. People will always have something to say. There will always be pressure to fit in, to compete, to follow what's trending. But what they're chasing might not be right for you. You have to ask yourself what matters more, being in the loop or building something meaningful for yourself, because you can't do both. You can either stay focused on your mission or get pulled into everyone else's chaos. You choose one. Improving yourself daily doesn't mean you become perfect. It doesn't mean you win every day. It means you stay honest, you stay committed, you stay hungry to get a little better. Maybe you fix a small habit. Maybe you work on your patience. Maybe you say no when you usually say yes. Maybe you sit in silence and think about where you're going. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be real. Small actions add up. One day of discipline might not change your life, but 100 days will. One day of focus might not make you rich, but a year of focus can change your future. You don't need to make massive leaps all the time. You just need to make progress consistently. And that kind of progress doesn't happen when your attention is scattered. It happens when your mind is rooted in your own development. Chaos will try to distract you. It will tempt you to waste your time. It will make you believe that what you're doing isn't enough, that someone else has it easier, that someone else is winning faster. And that's when you need to remember who you're doing this for. You're not building your life to impress anyone. You're not improving to keep up with strangers. You're doing it because you know there's more inside you. You're doing it because you want to see what's possible when you give your best effort every single day. There's no magic to this. It's not about having perfect conditions. It's not about being better than everyone else. It's about showing up for yourself, even when it's quiet, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching. It's about using your time with intention, your energy with purpose, your thoughts with discipline. Because every time you choose growth, you're building something that chaos can't take from you. The people who win in life are not the ones who are never distracted. They're the ones who refuse to stay distracted. They recognize when they're slipping, and they correct it. They don't wait until Monday. They don't wait for motivation. They act now. They don't argue with life. They adapt, they adjust, and they keep moving forward. Not because it's easy, but because they've decided that their future is more important than their comfort. You have the ability to do the same. Every morning you wake up, you have two choices: complain about the noise or rise above it. You can scroll endlessly, or you can build something. You can listen to the critics, or you can focus on your improvement. You can let the outside world decide how you feel, or you can take control of your emotions and your path. And that's where your power is. In choosing your focus, in choosing what you give your attention to, in choosing how you respond. There's always going to be something trying to pull you off course, but you don't have to follow it. You don't have to engage in every battle. You don't have to explain your every move. You just have to stay committed to your growth, to your vision, to your discipline. The truth is, most people don't know what they're doing. They're reacting, not responding. They're consuming, not creating. They're chasing approval, not progress. But you can break that cycle. You can live with intention. You can decide that your growth is more important than the chaos that surrounds you. You can build a routine that keeps you anchored. You can set goals that mean something. You can build a life that reflects your values, not the distractions of the world. And when you do that, when you really lock in on becoming a better version of yourself, everything begins to shift. You start to feel more grounded. You start to feel less anxious. You stop comparing yourself so much. You stop feeling like you're falling behind. You become more present. You become more focused. You become more patient with yourself. And slowly you begin to realize that everything you were looking for out there, peace, purpose, confidence, it was always inside you. It just needed your attention. So stop trying to manage the noise. You'll never fix it. The world will always be loud, but you don't have to be. You don't have to match its pace. You don't have to react to its chaos. You can slow down. You can tune out. You can turn inward. You can build yourself quietly, daily with intention and discipline. And when you do, you won't need to chase anything anymore. You'll attract everything you once thought was out of reach. The greatest progress happens when nobody sees it, when nobody's talking about it, when nobody's clapping for it. It happens in the hours when you choose to show up, when you choose to stay focused, when you choose to be consistent. That kind of progress builds confidence that can't be shaken. It builds character that doesn't need validation. It builds a life that feels right, not just looks right. So make the choice today to improve yourself. Not because someone told you to, not because it's trending, but because it matters to you. Because you're tired of wasting time. Because you know you're capable of more. Because your life is your responsibility, and you're ready to take ownership of it. Work on your health. Work on your habits. Work on your mindset. Read, write, learn. Practice, patience, discipline, focus. Cut out what doesn't help you. Add more of what does, and don't look around for permission. Don't wait for approval. Just do the work. Quietly, daily, without drama, without distractions. This is how real progress happens. One decision at a time, one day at a time, one habit at a time. Ignore the noise. Keep your eyes on your path, and build yourself into someone you're proud of, because no one else can do it for you. Number 9. Control your thoughts and watch your actions align perfectly. Everything starts in the mind. Before you act, before you speak, Before you build or destroy anything in your life, it all begins with a thought. That's why if you want to change your life, you don't start with your behavior. You start with your thinking. Your thoughts are the blueprint. They shape your decisions, influence your emotions, and determine how you respond to everything around you. If your thoughts are scattered, your actions will reflect that. If your thinking is weak, inconsistent, or reactive, it will show up in the way you move through life. But when you take control of your mind, when you train it to be focused, calm, and directed, you begin to move with purpose. You begin to live with clarity. You begin to take action that aligns with who you truly want to become. Too many people try to force change from the outside in. They try to fix habits without addressing the root cause. They try to be more productive without first correcting the way they think. But if your thoughts are full of fear, if your inner dialogue is negative, if you constantly doubt yourself, then your actions will be hesitant, scattered, and full of friction. You can't outperform the quality of your thinking. The way you think either supports you or sabotages you. The mind can be your greatest asset or your biggest obstacle. If you don't take ownership of it, it will be shaped by everything around you, what you see, what you hear, what you consume. If you're not intentional, your thoughts will be conditioned by fear, comparison, distractions, and other people's expectations. That's why discipline of the mind is the beginning of real personal power. When you start choosing your thoughts carefully, when you start being selective about what you allow into your mind, you begin to reshape your life from the inside out. Controlling your thoughts doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means you stop letting your mind spiral into doubt every time things get difficult. It means you catch yourself when you're thinking in a way that limits your potential. It means you learn to challenge your assumptions, interrupt negative patterns, and direct your attention toward what builds you up, not what breaks you down. It's about choosing thoughts that lead to strength, not weakness. Progress, not paralysis. Courage, not hesitation. And it's not something that happens by accident. You have to practice it daily. You have to become aware of what you're thinking and why you're thinking it. You have to notice when your thoughts are working against you. You have to be willing to question them, replace them, and realign them with the kind of person you want to be. Because when your thoughts are clear and centered, your actions begin to follow the same pattern. There is a direct connection between your internal state and your external behavior. You can't be full of self-doubt and expect to act confidently. You can't feed your mind negativity all day and expect to feel motivated. You can't think in circles and expect to move in a straight line. The way you act will always follow the way you think. So if your actions are inconsistent, if you feel like you're always starting and stopping, if you can't follow through on what you say, don't just look at your schedule. Look at your mindset. Look at the stories you're telling yourself. Look at the thoughts that are driving your behavior. When you start to clean up your thinking, you make space for real discipline. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You stop doubting yourself into paralysis. You stop needing permission to act. You become more decisive. You become more intentional. And your actions begin to align with your vision. You start doing what's necessary, not just what's easy. You start showing up consistently, not just when it feels good. You stop overthinking and start executing. But none of that happens without conscious effort. Your mind doesn't fix itself. You have to do the work. You have to train it. Just like you train your body, just like you build habits, you have to work on your mental discipline. That means you protect your focus. You manage your inner dialogue. You choose what you believe. You become the gatekeeper of your attention. You stop letting everything around you shape the way you think. Most people have never been taught how to think clearly. They absorb the noise of the world and carry it like truth. They believe every doubt. They feed every fear. They follow every thought without questioning where it leads. That's not freedom. That's mental chaos. And as long as your thoughts are undisciplined, your life will be reactive. You'll struggle to stay focused. You'll constantly question yourself. You'll make choices based on emotion, not intention. And over time, you'll start to believe that something outside of you is responsible for how you feel and what you do. But once you accept responsibility for your thoughts, everything starts to shift. You no longer wait to feel motivated. You create motivation by thinking in a way that supports it. You no longer wait to feel confident. You build confidence by managing your self-talk. You stop blaming your circumstances and start mastering your reactions. You stop living by default and start living with direction. This is how alignment happens. Not by hoping for perfect conditions, but by taking control of what you can, your thoughts, your mindset, your internal environment. Because when your mind is aligned, your decisions follow, your focus sharpens, your energy increases. You stop fighting yourself. You stop sabotaging your own progress. You become congruent. You become powerful. And this is where transformation begins. When you stop outsourcing your mental state to the world around you. When you stop letting every situation dictate how you think and feel. When you decide that no matter what happens, you will think with strength. You will think with clarity. You will think with discipline. And from that mental foundation, you will take action that reflects your values, your standards, and your vision. The truth is, you can do everything right on the outside and still feel like something is off. If your inner world is out of order, you can have the right habits, the right routines, the right plans. But if your thoughts are filled with conflict, your actions will be hesitant and your results will be inconsistent. That's why the real work is inside. That's why the real game is mental. And if you win there, everything else starts to make sense. Every time you catch yourself thinking in a way that weakens you, you have a choice. You can feed it, or you can redirect it. You can let it run your day, or you can replace it with something that supports your focus. This doesn't make you a robot. It makes you responsible. It gives you the ability to stay steady when the world tries to shake you. It gives you power in the moments where others fold. It gives you control over your actions, because they are no longer driven by chaos, but by clarity. You don't need to control everything in your life. That's not possible. But you do need to control how you think about it. You need to protect your mental space like your future depends on it, because it does. You need to make time to think, to reflect, to align your thoughts with your goals. You need to remove what doesn't serve you. You need to stop entertaining thoughts that pull you away from your discipline. You need to build a mindset that matches the life you're trying to build. And that happens one moment at a time, one decision at a time, one thought at a time. You practice it, you fail, you try again, you stay aware, you stay committed. You remind yourself that every time you choose a thought that builds you up, you're strengthening your character. You're aligning yourself with your purpose. You're creating a life of meaning, because your actions are no longer random. They're guided by clarity. So make it your mission to control your thinking. Make it your standard to think with purpose. Make it your habit to think in a way that fuels your growth. And let that thinking lead to action. Let it shape the way you show up. Let it define the way you move through life. Because once your mind is aligned, the rest of your life starts to follow. Your habits fall into place. Your decisions become simpler. Your confidence grows. Not because you have all the answers, but because you trust your thinking. You trust your judgment. You trust yourself. And that's what this is really about. Becoming the kind of person who can stay focused no matter what, who can stay calm under pressure, who can think clearly in chaos, who doesn't need outside validation to act with integrity, who doesn't need constant motivation to stay disciplined. That kind of strength doesn't come from talent. It comes from thought, from mastering the space between stimulus and response, from choosing your thoughts with intention every single day. Number 10. Trust the process and stay silent while building your future. Most people want progress, but they struggle with patience. They want the results, but they don't want to wait for the foundation to settle. They want the reward, but they don't want to go unnoticed while they build. They get restless in the silence, uneasy when things aren't moving fast enough. But real transformation never makes noise while it's happening. Growth is quiet. Discipline is invisible. The most powerful moments in your life won't come with applause or recognition. They'll come when you're in the dark, doing the work that no one sees. That's where the future is built. You don't need to announce your goals to the world. You don't need to broadcast your plans or explain your process. You don't need permission to improve. What you need is a quiet mind and steady hands. What you need is to fall in love with progress, not attention. Because attention doesn't build anything. Validation doesn't get the work done. Only consistency, discipline, and patience do. And those things happen in silence. They don't ask for praise. They don't wait for motivation. They just show up day after day until something unshakable is created. There's a reason why most people stay stuck. They quit in the middle. They lose focus when it stops being exciting. They get discouraged when progress is invisible. But if you trust the process, if you commit without needing applause, you'll move past the phase where most people give up. You'll keep working when the results are small. You'll stay focused when the path is uncertain. You'll believe in your effort, even when the outcome is still out of sight. That's how real power is built, quietly, consistently, in the absence of praise. Your future is shaped by what you do when no one's watching. The hours you invest when it feels like nothing is changing. The sacrifices you make when no one gives you credit. The improvements you make, quietly, patiently, relentlessly. That's what defines you. Not what you say you'll do. Not the image you project. Not the story you tell others. But the small choices you repeat in silence. The self-respect you build through discipline. And the strength you earn by staying loyal to your path. It's tempting to look for shortcuts. It's tempting to chase speed. But anything meaningful takes time. If you try to rush it, you weaken the foundation. If you let frustration lead, you abandon the work too early. You don't grow by forcing the outcome. You grow by mastering the process. You learn to love the routine. You focus on improving your system. You stop obsessing over how long it's taking and start committing to doing it right. Because when the foundation is solid, the future can stand tall. Don't be fooled by the illusion of overnight success. What looks like a sudden breakthrough is usually the result of years of invisible work. All the preparation, all the late nights, all the quiet effort, it builds up slowly until it becomes something undeniable. And when that moment comes, when the results finally show up, it will be obvious to everyone. But by then, you won't need to explain anything. The results will speak louder than any words ever could. Stay silent while you build, because your energy is precious. Don't waste it on trying to prove something. Use it to create. Use it to grow. Use it to master your craft. There's strength in keeping your journey private. There's peace in moving without needing attention. When you stop seeking recognition, you gain clarity. You stop worrying about how things look and start focusing on how things feel. You stop performing and start improving. There's a mental toughness that develops when you trust the process. When you keep showing up without needing to be seen. When you choose discipline over distraction. When you stay steady while others chase quick wins. That kind of strength can't be bought. It can't be faked. It's earned in the quiet hours, in the boring reps, in the days where progress is invisible. But the work still gets done. You don't have to share every step. You don't need to defend your pace. You don't need to explain your vision. Protect your focus. Keep your momentum sacred. Let people wonder what you're doing. Let them assume you've disappeared. Let them question your silence. When it's time, your results will speak for you. Until then, your silence is your power. It means you're focused. It means you're serious. It means you're not here to perform. You're here to win. There's power in being underestimated. When people think you're not doing much, you get to work without pressure. You get to build without noise. You get to move in peace. And when the results show up, they'll be undeniable. Not because you said something, but because you did something. The work will speak. The improvement will show. The consistency will reveal itself in every part of your life. You won't need to say a word. This mindset takes humility. It takes discipline to stay quiet while everyone else is announcing their every move. It takes strength to keep working without external motivation. But it also builds resilience. It makes you mentally tougher. It teaches you to stay grounded. And in a world that's addicted to attention, that kind of internal strength is rare. When you stop needing noise, you start finding peace. When you let go of the need for validation, you make room for growth. The process will test you. There will be days where nothing makes sense. There will be seasons where progress is invisible. There will be moments where quitting feels easier than continuing. But that's part of the journey. That's what separates the people who talk from the people who execute. The ones who keep going even when it's not glamorous, even when it's not rewarding, even when no one is watching. Those are the ones who win long term. Every quiet day is a brick. Every silent sacrifice is a step. Every disciplined decision, even when no one sees it, builds momentum. And over time it all adds up. But only if you don't quit. Only if you stay locked in. Only if you trust that everything you're doing now is preparing you for what's coming. You don't have to know how it'll all play out. You just have to stay consistent. Stay focused, stay quiet, and keep moving forward. Don't let impatience ruin your progress. Don't let comparison distract your focus. Don't let doubt disrupt your discipline. Everyone's path is different. Everyone's timing is different. What matters is that you stay true to your own, that you show up every day with the same intensity, that you honor your standards regardless of who's watching, that you build your future without needing to explain your every move. Silence is not weakness. It's strength under control. It's confidence that doesn't need validation. It's vision that doesn't need approval. When you trust the process, you don't get rattled by delay. You don't chase quick fixes. You don't fold under pressure. You stay grounded. You stay patient. And that patience becomes your edge. Because while everyone else is chasing noise, you're building something solid. Let your work do the talking. Let your consistency tell the story. Let your progress be the only proof you need. Don't announce every chapter. Don't seek applause for every small win. Just build. Just grow. Just keep doing the work. And when the time is right, it will be obvious. Not because you said something, but because you lived it. Because you stayed committed. Because you stayed silent. And because you trusted the process long enough for it to reward you. That's the path to real success. Not loud, not rushed, not dependent on praise. Just quiet, steady, patient progress. One step at a time, one day at a time, one silent win after another. Until the life you've built speaks for itself.